Hey, welcome everyone. It's New with a sort of day one review of how my experience is going in this 3.19 Kalandra League. I decided to do something a little bit different. It was a uniquely opportune time to do the day one review early because I came out with a build guide that featured, different breakdowns, particularly between Acts 3 and 4. There's a lot going on, and I know there's a number of you following that build guide, and you guys know that I'm following through with the guide I made, basically almost identical to the same league start I did last league. So I want to kind of bring you guys up to speed and present a sort of model for how you can be getting through the campaign if you haven't done it yet, if you haven't started. Not everybody actually plays on day one at the beginning. So with that, let's get into it here. This is literally all of the currency I've made in the first 3 acts, so pretty typical there. One Chaos Orb, an Orb of Regret. I actually don't remember getting the Orb of Regret. I did find a couple of Orbs of Alchemy. I've been using a few things, a couple fusings I had to use, a few Chromes. I have not bought anything. I've not sold anything, even though I am playing trade. So, I'm just following my own build guide to the T, and that's actually necessary because I think, honestly, the biggest part of my day one experience is the relenting fatigue, mentally speaking, that I have for trying to slam out that build guide. Honestly, I think I'd put like 50 man hours into that thing, trying to slam it out. And I did that 1000 Crimson Temple video right before that. It was just one major video right after another. The 1000 Crimson Temple map was nothing compared to the build guide. And in large part because it was my first build guide we're making. Still, it leaves a little bit to be desired. I have gotten some, much positive remarks on it already in the first few hours of it. Apologies for coming out a little late on it. Can't be helped in this case. But some people are commenting that they're a little skeptical as to the route or the path to kind of gear progress, especially into the very end game. Well, I can't address that right now, but I can at least show you guys what I had in mind getting through the campaign, because it turns out that the transition from Act 3 to Act 4 is actually, you're basically done. There's almost everything. You have a few gems to pick up in Act 4 and you're done. Your gear, you don't even need to you don't really even need to worry about anything. You don't really need to worry about gear upgrades, except maybe getting a little more health, a little more life. So, I've been very fortunate, actually, with the gear I've gotten. Again, this is 100% solo self-found. Let me show you what I got. I made this bow myself. It was an Orb of Alchemy, and then took 4 Orbs of Transmutation, which was kind of expensive. Get that lightning enchant on it. This is just a pretty typical looking bow. Nothing super special. It's actually a bit below average, I would say, to be honest, with the rolls here. I'm mistaken. I did not Alch Orb this. It was a Muttering Essence of Hatred. So that cold roll is guaranteed. So actually, in hindsight, this is a pretty terrible roll that I got on it. Really no extra mods that are worth anything except 5 to 7 chaos res and a little bit of cold, or 5 to 7 chaos damage, a little bit of cold resistance, which I don't care about getting resistance on the weapon per se. I really just want the damage rolls or attack speed. So the weapon's not that great. It's not part of the 4-linked items that I have, but yeah. Anyway, I'll move on to the quiver. I did get actually quite lucky with the quiver. The quiver is way better than the weapon is. Got a couple of resist rolls in there. 4 max life is cute, I guess. But the big thing is all that extra fire damage and the attack speed. And there's nothing else I can even craft on it right now except mana, which will actually be kind of important here. So the amulet, I think this was a sort of delayed Alch Orb amulet. Interesting results, actually pretty good overall. Tons of stats, so make it so that my stat issue is I'll never, with this amulet on, I'll never have to worry about like putting a point into strength or intelligence, because that's pretty wild. Now it does say that Karuri's Ward is the amulet of choice here. You can't really get that guaranteed in the first few acts. You could buy it. I noticed it's actually like 3 chaos right now, which is already like way higher than I thought. Not the case for all the uniques out there, but I guess some people caught on that it is a very good leveling unique. I got just kind of a decent ring. Actually, this was a really good ring I got at level 12. I'm way above level 12 now because I'm level 34 at this point, but Yeah, this is still a good ring, even at level 34. Now this ring is an absolute monster. This is the best item I've found so far, easily. I honestly can't believe I got a ring this good. This is going to go all the way into white maps, like, almost certainly. I still have the ability to enchant this with, I'm going to put like, you know, a lightning res, flat lightning, or lightning damage roll on it rather. It's going to really help with Trinity, which I think is already working pretty well. Absolute bonkers amulet, or ring rather. You can see I'm totally scatterbrained. I'm super mentally tired. I can't even speak right now. Gloves, nothing special, and they don't have to be anything special with the gems here. It's only 2 gem sockets, so you can see there's hardly any priority on the gloves, and this typically happens. Generally speaking, I kind of like leaving the gloves to be the sort of slot where any rare can go, because you can get a lot of life, you can get a lot of res, and you can get a lot of flat damage on gloves. So it's really nice to have your gloves be a very flexible slot. Same thing with the boots for the movement speed alone, but well, one could argue this is the best drop I got. So I was fighting against time to get the 4-link for my Tornado Shot, and I kept checking the vendor, which you should do in Act 3, kept checking the vendor over and over and over each level. Wouldn't give me a 4-link that I needed with the 3 green and 1 blue. He did, however, give me this helmet. This is how I originally got this helmet. It was 3 green, 1 red from the vendor in Act 3. Usually, before completing Act 3, I can get one either dropped, or I can at the very least get a 4-link that I can potentially chrome into this before finishing Act 3. That actually didn't happen this time, and I've done multiple run-throughs through Act 3 before. I'd say about 70% of the time I'll end up with, I will succeed at getting a 4-link for the end. So I technically did, because this actually dropped off Dominus. This is a rare, or a very rare drop, an actual unique boots, and a good pair. You know, it's honestly pretty good. Now they don't have life on them, but who cares? You know, you really just want movement speed, so they're fantastic for this level. Now I didn't tell people this, but here's a little golden nugget of information. Wake of Destruction. Look it up. Well, I'll probably post it right here in the video. It gives a monstrous flat lightning damage roll and shocked ground on your character, and 15% movement speed. Not the most movement speed in the world. You definitely want to replace it at some point, like getting into maps or whatever. But a very nice sort of glass cannon style boot that works super well with Mirage Archer and Ballista Totem support. Because, you know, your Mirage Archer and Ballista Totems are firing at things that are behind you as you run past them. A lot of monsters get stuck on a shocked ground trail and take a whole bunch of extra damage. And then your Trinity support is guaranteed basically to work with those boots, because it's like 1 to 30 lightning damage or something like that. It's essentially 2 high-tier lightning damage rolls at the level it's required. So I did actually have those set up on a live search. I was going to buy them. I noticed they're only like 1 chaos. Absolutely worth getting at 1 chaos. Maybe not the most important 1 chaos item to buy, but certainly one of the best. Because I did it last league, and I didn't replace them until like tier 4, mapped tier 4 or something like that. So it was a long time before I replaced them. But these boots are certainly going to suffice, and I'm going to keep them, especially since they got the link, and this link is just going to ride me all the way into maps. And I don't have any real reason to replace these until I get either a 5-link somewhere, or eventually just get better boots, I guess. Yeah. The belt is pretty bad, but here's another thing that I got in mind here. I have technically bought 1 item. The Wretch is an amazing belt that is super cheap early league. A couple leagues ago I found out about it. It's honestly quite amazing, and this is half of the pieces for it. You also got to buy a Feast Bind and then just a Orb of Fusing, and then boom, you got the Wretch belt. And it's amazing for Flask duration, reduces the charges gained, which kind of double dips with Survival Instincts. Interesting. We'll get into that in a minute, but I'm going to just go ahead and buy that because it's just so damn cheap. In trade, it's actually worth getting because it's an amazing belt, and it's kind of hard to get like any decent belt when you're leveling. It's just really annoying. So I'm absolutely going to buy that belt at some point. The chest is a flex slot for a rare, which is nice. Usually it's the helmet and the chest that are the 4 links that I need are the best, because that means the bow I can upgrade as a flex slot. The gloves with their superior rolls are intact, and then the boots can have whatever best movement speed boots or Wake of Destruction there. So that is all the gear that I have here, but not all the flasks. So you know that most decent campaign speedrunners are going to run 2 Quicksilver flasks. I have went ahead and blown a couple transmutation orbs on these just to, you know, make them worth something. This one especially is halfway decent because it's got max charges and reduced effective chill and duration of freeze, which is really nice. Bismuth flask randomly dropped in like Act 2. Pretty cool. It's not really that important though. It's really actually not. It might surprise you guys, but I'm already like well above res cap. Even I'm a little surprised. So with the Bismuth flask, it's like, I don't even know, it's like way above cap. Anyway, this was hilarious. I actually got super lucky with this. 1 transmutation. I've spent a grand total of 1 transmutation orbs on a mana flask and a hit enduring prefix. I couldn't believe it. Even the suffix is actually not bad. So it's very lucky quality of life to hit this. It does actually mean I can play with a lower mana pool than I would normally. Transitioning from Act 3, you got I was running Haste, Herald of Thunder, and Herald of Ice, and then normally going into Act 4, I'm going to probably drop Herald of Thunder and pick up Vitality. You know what? I might actually try to run all 4 of those right now with a lower mana pool, because I think I can maybe pull it off with this flask on. Anyway, and then just a generic life flask there at the end. So you can see I'm already doing like 950 DPS plus 400 there, so it's already got well over 1,000 DPS in the sheet. It's honestly like a lot of damage. I'm probably doing about 20 or 30% more damage than usual, and that's with a pretty crappy bow at this level. I could have a much better bow than this, ironically. But having both 4 links out of the way, I'm basically done. I mean, the links are done, essentially, because in Act 4, the only thing I got to pick up is a marked on hit support that'll go right here, next to the sniper's mark, which I can use manually right now, but I always forget to do it. And then the other thing is greater multiple projectile support will replace lesser multiple projectile support. And I think that's it. That's basically it. So I already got literally all the links I need. You basically do need 4 gems, or you need 4 gems, 4 gem slots in each piece -2 somewhere. So -2 on the gloves there. So that is, you know, a pretty nice start. I'm going to showcase the playthrough a little bit, how it's going for me, as you see in a second here. Do just want to clarify that I am following my own build guide straight to a T. Currently level 32, so I'm going down here. I'm going to pick up the rest of the phasing wheel up here, then get the onslaught down here, just like my own build guide says. I do have the gem, or the jewel rather, survival instincts, and probably the most important thing that I can bring up, honestly, in the first couple hours. This is something I don't even see in most build guides, even ones that focus featuring on like leveling, progression, gear and stuff. I really don't understand why they don't include this jewel. It's honestly unbelievably powerful. I wonder if people think that the downside is so bad, like you can't deal with it. But honestly, you can knock out half of the downside right here with 1 point, and then the other half is right here. So I've completely eliminated the downside with 2 nodes here. And you can notice I went ahead and already got Flask Effect Duration increase and Flask Effects applied to me. And you guys are going to probably be absolutely blown away by how long my Quicksilver Flask lasts. It's utterly amazing. I'm basically never moving without a Quicksilver Flask active. And as long as my gear is good enough so that I can go fast while also killing stuff too, my charges come back, you know, really nicely. So I'm going to showcase that here in a second. But you can see no increased reservation of auras, still making it work. There's one thing I'm not 100% sure, maybe somebody in the comments can point this out, but 16% increased mana reservation efficiency of skills, I believe, is different than what it was last time. I believe it was efficiency of non-cursed auras skills. Because here, I'll go into my hideout for a second to show you guys. Look at this. 2 heralds, both at 25%, are reserving way less than 50% of my mana. That didn't used to be that way. I'm 95% sure it didn't used to be that way. So it looks like heralds are received an indirect buff because of this. So I'm really surprised to see that. It's actually going to have some major ramifications. If it's true, it's going to have some major ramifications on the in-game gear with the mana pool reservation. As you can see here, Act 3 is done. The Ascendancy is done. I have in fact gotten my Gathering Winds, which is the first one, and I'm just starting Act 4. So let me show you guys just how it's going here. And again, part of the reason I decided to move this over, the day one review over to sort of a 3-hour review, is to kind of showcase this transition here in the gearing. So you can already see where I'm at on the quest line. But this is sort of a pivotal moment in the campaign for this build. Trying to basically complete all your gem lengths and get 4 links where you can. It doesn't always happen, you know. Sometimes you get bad luck. Look how long those flasks are lasting. Look how long the Quicksilver flask is lasting. There's basically no way that it's ever going to be down. Oh, Jesus. Now I get one of these. Well, this quest boss is definitely going to die pretty fast. So he's right here, I guess. I mean, I might die. He can definitely kill somebody. That could have killed me right there. Oh, see, I forgot to put Sniper's Mark on him, too. That would have helped. Don't forget Sniper's Mark. You know, I'm not used to putting Sniper's Mark on target because I don't have to, because we have marked on hit. So it's just something. I forgot to put him on the Ascendancy boss. I forgot to put it on Dominus. I'm just forgetting to put it on. I need to notice I have very little mana, so I may have to drop Herald of Thunder to make this work. Or I may drop Vitality because I got really lucky with that ring and already got 15 life regen on there. But the reason I like Vitality is because... Oh, it looks like I actually had the wrong link in there. So I wasn't using Blood Rage at the time. Let me play a little bit with Blood Rage here so we can see it. You can see my health doesn't even go down. I got a ton of life on hit. I got a ton of leech from the passive points already. And it's just going to be a breeze all the way through the rest. I mean, I really wouldn't have to replace hardly any gear except periodically upgrade the bow in order to have a stellar Act 4 through 10 experience, really. It's going to go quite smoothly. Again, I may need to mess with my flat. You can see my mana pool is a little bit subject here with the having such a low amount. So I could get maybe extra mana somewhere. You can see Trinity support is perfectly good. It's getting all 3 resonances really high. You know, I'm just kind of relaxing on this league start. I told myself early on this is not going to be a speed league start for me. I'm just trying to get by on very little sleep and an exhausted mind here. So that all came on account of me wanting to bring the content to you guys. So here's a little bit more of it. And one last thing I will mention as I finish this quest now. I do want to point out that there is a bow that is extremely good for this build, leveling, if you can get your hands on it. I wasn't sure how much it would cost. It's actually a little cheaper than I expected. Around 2 or 3 chaos a piece right now, but that's Death's Harp. It was actually buffed. It was one of the uniques buffed. The faded version gave +2 arrows, so they took the faded version and put it on the regular version, and even like a level requirement 32 bow for 2 or 3 chaos, it will take you all the way into yellow maps at least. Yellow, maybe even red maps. It's so good. Probably yellow maps. So +2 arrows for a Tornado Shot build with endless munition. I'll actually pull greater multiple projectiles off and put something else in there, probably. Else I'll be firing 8 projectiles at that point. But I mean, that wouldn't be a terrible thing. Yeah, so that's basically my league start right there. So, you know, just trying to bring a little bit more valuable information to you guys on the actual process, how it goes. By the way, if for some reason you want to see the actual playthrough, the very slow and unfocused playthrough of Acts 1 through 3, by all means, it'll be linked in the description as a Twitch. You know, I did actually live stream my entire leveling experience this way. So the first video, I took a break after Act 3. This is me coming right back from lunch break. So that is there, you know, if you want to see it. But anyway, still the day is young, so we got to move forward and get through Acts 4 through 10. I'll start doing Atlas passive points allocations there. I never really told anybody this because I didn't really have time, and I don't think, well, and you know, you can do whatever Atlas strategy you want with this build, honestly, as long as it's focused on mapping. But I will probably try out Grand Design this time around, maybe with like Abyss for the increased leveling. I'm kind of curious about Grand Design combined with like Abyss and Breach, maybe even forcing Chayula Breaches onto the map early. I don't know if that section's going to be worth it. We'll have to see what Chayula Breach stones are usually worth a lot early on, so it's kind of tricky to farm that because you kind of really need to use that section if you're actually going to farm that seriously. I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do, but I'm definitely going to try out. Oh yeah, and shrines, obviously. I will have a goal helmet at some point. Apparently, I only saw there's like 2 right now on the trade site. They're for like 30 chaos apiece. That's actually the same as what we saw last league. There will be more, and then they will just drop in price pretty quickly. Again, this is only a few hours into the first league, or into this league, so yeah, it'll drop. It'll come out. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to try to get my hands on a Death's Harp here very shortly. I don't need to get the boots I wanted. I'll try to get Karuri's Ward Amulet soon, although it seems to be a little overpriced right now. And everything else looks perfectly fine. Yeah, a pretty good league start, all things considered. I just wish I had a little more energy. That's it. All right. Well, that's it for this video. So I don't know when the next one will come out. I may do something like a day 2. I might do like a day 2 or day 3 to make up for the fact that I didn't do like a full-blown day 1 review. Yeah. Oh, last thing. Yes, I did try the league mechanic. Totally not worth it. It's much worse than most. I died multiple times on it. I did it in the mud flats when, you know, you're most likely to get a tabula rasa or whatever from it. Yeah, I got nothing from it. It was basically a complete waste of time. And like most league mechanics, you should just skip it until you're, honestly, until you're like deep into red maps, I think. Or yellow maps at least. Yeah, so that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.